Over the countless years, the mobile gaming industry has developed tremendously. There's more than thousands of MMORPGs on phones, highly realistic console ports, and of course, best of all, open world games. If you like them, today I'm going to be showing you about 13 amazing new ones for your Android and iOS devices as well. Now, with over 100 million downloads, just a quick mention over here, just to start the video on a good note, something you all can pick up this very moment. This game has been out for a long time, and it's the absolute #1 substitute for those of you who already played Grand Theft Auto or you can't have hands on it. This game is actually even more smooth, the mechanics are really easy to get the hang of, there's more silly things to do, but the game is in cel shaded, halfway a zombie apocalypse, an open world and an adventure. You can play this one offline, and it actually works with a controller. It has a multiplayer, you get a ton of cars, planes, bikes, boats, you name it. If you like your action a little more relaxing, your open world games a little bit more relaxing, just wanted to point out that Truck Sim Pro USA has been out for like a week tops, and is downloaded almost 1 million times already. Only games as big as Apex had this much positive reception upon release, and even Apex was pretty famous already. What you're looking at over here is a professional truck driving open world sim that takes place across most states in USA. The game is divine in looks, huge in content. It's about 3 GB in total, and also playable both online and offline. With a 4.5 out of 5, although just a bit shy of 10,000 downloads, we've got over here a Grand Theft Auto style or inspired by mix with Watch Dogs a little bit. Open world action adventure game going by the name Grand Theft Operation. This game was actually released on the Play Store like a month ago, but was taken down due to some issues, development stuff. It's now back. It works just fine. It's got a new patch too. The whole thing is about 1 GB in total, and it's free all the way.
Let's play Red Room!
With over 10 million downloads on the Play Store, #4, we've got Rec Room. This is actually a social life sim that's been around for years, and ever since it's getting nothing but positive reception. It's actually the most positively rated game in the list today. The reason it's in the list, however, today is because in a few regions the game wasn't available before, but it is now. It's got a final patch to get rid of a few glitches and adjustments. Got itself cross-platform with even VR headsets. For those of you new, however, this is a mod-making, casual, building, action, and an open world game in experience. With over 100,000 downloads and a 4.7 in rating, we've got another open world adventure racing game over here going by the name Roto growl. I'm pretty sure most of you are already familiar with the growl open world, semi-open world Brazil games. This is actually coming from a very well making mobile, mainly biking, semi-open world game developers, and the new one here is taking place also in Brazil. It's an online game about 200 megabytes initially, and this is really how it looks.
Were laid upon. All things on Earth were plunged into misery and suffering.
On a bigger scale, Dawnlands, which I've mentioned just a few times already, after being around for months on the Play Store through pre-registration, this is now finally available worldwide in Western regions as well, since like a week ago. The game's already downloaded almost 5 million times, or pre-registered that, and if you missed it, it is basically an open world survival crafting game that promises cross-platform multiplayer with PCs as well. It's definitely one of the biggest games in the list, if not the biggest. Playable online, it takes that about 1 to 2 GB in total. Speaking of city building simulation games, #7 we have an almost Harvest Moon style kind of game going by the name Brick City. See, Brick City is a sandbox city building game that lets you kind of rebuild a new Earth. Like a desolate or a post-apocalyptic version of Earth, and you get to maintain that, which is also about 500 years into the future from now, where there's these new species evolved for what's left of us. The game is quite a bit like Minecraft. It's about 500 megabytes tops, playable online, and this is how it looks. Number 8, guys, we have Monster Hunter Now, which has hitting over 2 million pre-registered players in less than a week. That is basically so far into the year the biggest reception on most mobile games, even though it's in its soft launch phase. Because Monster Hunter Now is an action RPG open world game made by Capcom. The difference between this mobile game and previous iterations is that it uses a premise like Pokemon Go. You fight creatures, win rewards, level up, improve, eat, sleep, repeat. It's a big game. Rated by the Google Play team as one of the most well-received and downloaded free-to-play RPGs of the month. At number 9, we have XDRP. This is a RPG semi-open world adventure quite similar to Brookhaven RP and Roblox, and also coming from the same developers of PKXD, which is another adventure simulation game the company made that's downloaded over 100 million times, in case you're unfamiliar with. XDRP is quite a bit in the same in quality, downloaded over 1 million times so far, takes down about 300 megabytes initially. This has been made possible by the Japanese publishers, which we can get into later. We've got Deer Simulator, Future World, the literal #1 rated free-to-play sim on the Play Store since last month. This game is an open world adventure, if you missed out when it was released on PCs, that's just as famous as the Goat Simulator games, and the best thing about it is that you can play it offline. It's about 300 megabytes initially. It's huge in scales, definitely the silliest game and the most fun in the list, and the ads of it are optional too. Paperworld, on the other hand, is a social, or rather multiplayer open-world adventure that's coming as a second AAA of its developers. This game is built, or you could say inspired a lot, by Roblox or the recently popular RDX games with voxel-based obstacles and graphics, and you can do a lot of social activity. The game's premise basically revolves around that. There's a lot of mini-games, quite a bit of content, get engaged with, fly, customize your avatar, build a house. The whole thing's about 1 gigabyte in total, and it's playable offline.
The world has fallen to the undead.
Survival Tactics, however, sitting on both stores with almost 10,000 downloads and a 4.9, almost a 5 out of 5. Since a week ago, it's, as you would assume by the title, this is actually a tactics RPG, but also a zombie survival kind of sandbox. Not really a sandbox, but you see, you get into fights in pretty much typical strategic tactics rounds of fights, but you get to go gather stuff and do a little bit of live action, run and gun even, in a pretty open-ended, almost an open world style environment. It's a free game, takes down about 1 gigabyte in total. Available on both the Google and the App Store alongside Steam, Hardwood Online here is a true cross-platform free-to-play MMO or open-world adventure, in which your main goal is to just join forces with other players to raid bosses, find treasures, and unlock new abilities and powers. If you do like pixel art, that's the #1 reason it is included in the list, because most of you aren't, you really can't go wrong with this game. It's not a pay-to-win, the grind is awesome, it's rated a 5 out of 5 on the Play Store and takes down about 600 megabytes, available both on the Google and the App Store.